Hey, Kathy, welcome. I hope your wrist is better. Hey, welcome, Tommy boy. Um, I ended up having to go on antibiotics because it was not letting up. It wasn't healing on its own. So, hey, Phil, welcome to the chat, dude. First time, I believe. So, you actually broke your wrist, huh? Joe, welcome. Been a while. Thank you, sir. I'm working on it. Like I said, I think today is day 2 on antibiotics. I'm feeling better. Just I don't know, man. It caught me by surprise. Uh, I started wearing an earbud in that ear during my night job, and I think that I just handled it one too many times and got some sort of contaminant on it. Stuck it back in my ear, and it crawled into some pore in my ear. And next thing you know, I've got some big abscess and an infection. No good. Mr. Midwest. Cool. I was hoping you were going to join tonight. I got a bone to pick with you, buddy. All right, you guys ready? Listen to this. Oh, there we go. It sounds like freedom. Yeah, Joe. I am well aware of Mark. Uh, what can I say? Um, well, not a fan. I'll say it like it is. I don't like to step on anybody's toes. I don't like to throw shade, but unfortunately, Mark has kind of damaged his reputation with his last couple of posts. So that was his choice to post some store-bought masks and try to pass it off as a Sasquatch, and then anyway, there was a whole other couple things that he did that he kind of put himself out there for. Yeah, you said that, Mr. Midwest. You said that. Yeah, I'm only kidding, of course. So I'll just throw this out there real quick because of our cover picture here. What do you guys think of Wendigos or Wendigo? I'm not sure if there's a plural version. Phil, I think what ended up happening with Mark, to elaborate, is that I think he was sent something that he then, for whatever reason, just had a misjudgment and thought it was real, and then reposted it. Like, I don't think he was purposely trying to hoax anyone, but it was just a really poor lack of judgment on his part, just to look at these masks and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's real," and then post it out in the world. He's just, I don't know, man. I guess everyone kind of expected more from him, so I don't think it was a deliberate hoax, though. I'll go that far and say I don't think he was trying to mislead anyone. He does have some pretty interesting information, and the guy seems to be legit in his own personal experiences. Yeah, Mr. Midwest. They're part of the Algonquin Native American or Native tribe folklore. So basically, um, an evil spirit. The folklore goes on to tell you that it would be a human that got greedy. So, like you say, cannibalism or gluttony of any kind, greed. Yeah, it definitely seems metaphorical to me, but nevertheless, an interesting story. In fact, we did on our sister channel. No, actually, it was on this channel. We did a story called "The Deer Man," and that was a two young boys' experience with a Wendigo. I got a few interesting pictures I want to share with you guys tonight. Yeah, I mean, I guess eating human flesh has always been like such a taboo, but in that time period, it was probably a little more. I wouldn't say like not socially acceptable, but like it was more prevalent. Like now, you don't really worry about that sort of thing. But I mean, there were certain like Native American and Native Canadian tribes like they were totally cannibals. They would eat human flesh, and that's just a matter of survival. Such as like a lot of island cultures, jungle cultures, like they'll eat humans, but it always is like sort of tainted with this like again a taboo. Which one are we talking about, Joe? Fill me in. Dude, I have such a problem with like. I don't have a problem with Wendigo. I don't believe that Wendigo is a real thing. I mean, I think it's folklore, but like skinwalkers, right? Everything that anyone can't explain is a skinwalker. I hate it. I hate how abused the word is. Like I'm not saying it isn't real, but it's like just seems like every dog without fur, is a chupacabra. Well, anything that you just can't quite identify as a skinwalker, because they're shapeshifters and they can just do anything. I don't know if this is going to show up or not. This is Jeff Yellick, who's also part of Sir. I didn't realize that, but extremely clear facial picture here. Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys ever watch? I mean, I'm not sure how old everyone is, but it's like, did you ever watch? What was that movie was called Ring of Fire about the primitive man? We watched it in school when I was a kid, and I remember the scene where they're eating meat like feverishly out of this like ash pile. They're just grabbing the meat. They're just eating it. They just found it. And then the next thing you know, they find a human bone, and they all start like spitting out the meat and like freaking out, you know, that sort of thing. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's always been a taboo. It's weird, but like some creatures have that taboo and some don't. Like you don't ever see lions eating other lions. I don't know why that is. Even if they kill a lot, like if a polar bear kills another polar bear, they're eating that polar bear, you know. But like lions, they just like they're no. I guess they have too much of an abundant food source to resort to cannibalism, you know. Quest for Fire. Thank you, Tommy Boy. Yeah, that's yeah, Ring of Fire. That's Johnny Cash. But yeah, that's the movie. Kathy, did you go to the doctor? Did you get any like groovy painkillers or anything? Shows your age. Mine too, dude. Like I watched it. I don't know, Joe. You know, to me it seems like you'll always see the same picture from 10 different places, and to me that tells me it's probably not legit. You know, it's like I don't know if y'all recall that one picture. I have it somewhere, but it's like this like sort of Bigfoot looking creature, and it's coming out of a river walking into a tree line. That freaking picture must have been from 12 different states. Yeah, every time I saw it, it was a different state. I cannot offer you guys any information on this picture. I found it in my archive today. Every once in a while, I just sort of dig through the archive and see what kind of cool stuff I can pull up. Sometimes it's marked, sometimes it is not. This one is not. I happen to have some exclusive content from Bigfoot World. It's not exclusive, they posted it on their page earlier. But one of Kathy's pictures, I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. I also have a picture from Scott Loomis from Monsters from Maine that I think is really cool. And of course, we will be going over the these in the upcoming video. But by joining us live, you know, I like to give you guys a little bit of a preview on some of the stuff that we have in our hands that we're going to be coming up with. So. Saving Private Ryan was great. Like, I mean, a little violent, yeah, I guess, but it was a great movie. Yeah, Phil, I don't know how many times we've seen Oliver the Chimp, that like one shot of it looking up at the camera, and it's like, it's always like caught in some trail cam and the mountains of California. It's always such bullshit, man. It's like, no, it's not. That's Oliver the Chimp, you know, and you want to scream at it. You wish you could report it as false news or something, but nobody cares. So that's why we're here. That's kind of what we do, is just sort of differentiate between what's legit and what's BS, and hopefully people listen, you know. Yeah, I appreciate it, Tommy Boy. I mean, like I said, man, you can't control the masses. You can only continue to put information out there in the world, good information. and hopefully, that catches on. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's like there's a couple leaders, what I would call leaders in the Bigfoot game, and of course one is Steve. Um, I can't recall his last name. How to Hunt, that guy, and John Moneymaker, and I'm not sure who I would pick as number three, but anyway, as far as Moneymaker, I don't have the hatred for him that everyone else does. I think the man saw an opportunity to become a millionaire and he took it, and he earned it. So it is what it is, whether you love him or hate him. Mr. Midwest, you got to learn sometime, man. I'm trying to think. I think I watched Freddy a little early in my life, and maybe Seven. Seven was a little early for me, but they're great films. Yeah, yeah, that's right, Tommy. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Isdal? Steve Isdal? I don't know. I know him as Steve How to Hunt. Mr. Midwest, we only speak English in here, so if you want to speak other languages, yeah, you know, you take it down the road, buddy. Isn't that weird though? Like it's true. Like I look at some of these videos that people call a hoax. Do you guys remember the two juvenile Bigfoot that were stealing the chicken? Like I've posted it numerous times in various ways, but people still call that a hoax. And I'm like, who in the hell has the time to make two small Bigfoot costumes and find two very average sized men to grab what, a prop chicken or kill a chicken and run away with it just to film a 10-second thing that made them no money at all? Like just none. It just became lost in the ethereal of all the Bigfoot footage in the world. Who has that kind of time? And that's, I think about things like that when I think about people, oh, it's a hoax. I'm like, yeah, well, is it? Because why? Yeah, I've heard some bad stuff about Moneymaker. I mean, I'm not really a fan. I just stay out of his way, obviously. I've seen him how he talks to people on the BFRO page, and I mean, he seems to be kind of a jerk, really. Like he just kind of talks down to people, and well, it's he's whatever. He does his thing, and that's fine, I guess. And like I said, I can't begrudge the man for making money, but. Would I want to follow in his footsteps? Well, not really. I just rather keep it real. I hope that at some point, the money finds its way to the people that deserve it, if that makes sense. Um, so, yeah. How do you mean, Kathy? What kind of activity? Dude, you're absolutely right, Mr. Midwest. I've seen so many things that it's like, look, guys, this is not a hoax. It's just a misinterpreted video. It's a cropped, trimmed piece of footage to make to make the rounds on the internet. And it was never meant to be a hoax. It's just, it's misinterpreted. Kathy, that's awesome. I mean, well, hopefully he's safe from the tree falls, obviously, but um, I've never been whistled at, but we have been kind of barked at, and I call it a bark. It really sounded more like a bap, like a loud bap. It wasn't really a bark, but that's the only thing I can come up with. But that happened there on, well, if I tell you, you'll probably know. It's 19 out in Altoona. Um, I think that's a hot spot. There's a trail out there that has some fallen trees and very interesting happenings out there. Yeah, I don't even know, we were about a mile down that trail, and all of a sudden, everything just went quiet, which you got to know that means something, apex predator nearby. And all of a sudden, about, I don't know, maybe about something like 15, maybe 20 feet off the trail, just a weird, like, I was like, what the hell was that? Like, it was not, like, no bird, and I'd never heard anything like that in my life. Bah! And I was like, okay. So we just, stopped, looked around. All you could do was keep going because they weren't showing themselves. They were just talking to each other. Mr. Midwest, I'm glad you brought that up. So I was going to bring this topic up at some point tonight, and Kathy is a great example. Do you feel that somehow or another, be it pheromones or something more paranormal or supernatural, do you feel that people get marked by the Sasquatch for whatever reason? Because it seems like people that have one experience rarely ever have just one. They end up having multiple. I can't help but feel that if you've had an experience, because Kathy is a prime example. She's had an experience at her home, had an experience in the woods, had an experience over there, and documented it as well. So there's proven documentation. But there's just people that have experiences in one state, then move to another and have an experience. I'm just wondering if there isn't some sort of pheromone something that how I don't know if they mark you, but if you've just been in their presence, they know that okay, this person's cool. They've been there before. I don't know, something like that. Phil, I mean, did you ever see the redwood footage? The one with the porn star. I can't remember her name. It's kind of like an older video, but like her and this like film crew are driving through the redwood forest, and they just stop and take footage of this creature crossing the road. Yeah, that might be true, Greg. I mean, I don't know what makes us interesting, but they do observe us quite a bit. There was a story I was listening to tonight. They were talking about how there's a place called Bigfoot Canyon, and they said like back in the like I'm thinking this is more like early 1900s. They said that Bigfoot would just sit on the hill and just watch the train go by, and so they called it Bigfoot Canyon. Phil, it's not great footage if I'm honest with you. If you go dig back on our channel, you'll find it. It's terrible footage, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like you got to take it at face value. I don't know what to say about it, although I did a commentary on it a long time ago. But it's called the redwood footage. See, that's what I'm talking about, Tommy. Is like, does that make you just like more observant than everyone else, more open to see things, more accepting of the truth, or did you somehow get marked the day that you witnessed what you witnessed? You know, I don't know the answer, but I'm very curious. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Joe brings up an interesting point: native blood. And I had asked Kathy this a while ago. Um, I had asked her, "Do you have Native American blood?" And she said no, um, because a lot of people that do have Native American blood or Native, Canadian, they talk about these experiences and they'll hear like that what we call samurai chatter. A lot of people will tell you that it's not gibberish, that it's actually native languages. Um, some people can actually interpret it. Yeah, he got a branch drop down from a tree in the middle of a clearing, right? It's the little things that we're not willing to accept at first, you know? Kathy, I thank you for sending me those vocals. I got a chance to listen to them. It's very cool. Very cool to hear skunk apes sort of jibber jabber to each other. You know, Kathy, I think that some of us are just always squatching. It doesn't matter. You know, it's like you might not be out there in the woods with your camo on, but like I don't know about you, but I'm always looking. Like I'm always just looking out the window. You know, Mr. Midwest, I don't mind when people that experienced it can't accept what they saw. But I think what really pisses me off is when their friends and family are the ones that are like, well, no, it's just your mind playing tricks on you, or you know, it was a bear, that 8 foot bipedal ape-like creature that you saw. No, it was a bear. It was a bear. You know, that shit pisses me off. It's like, you know, just get off it. Like, what do you gain? What's in this for you by not accepting my truth? You know, like I guess just sort of keeping their own little warm and fuzzies about the world. You know, they don't have to accept anything new. You know, Greg, I've heard that in numerous occasions. I mean, Bigfoot are very quick to mimic other animals and talk to each other, so they, like, you don't know that they're there, but they know. Nate, like, there's Papua New Guinea tribes do the same thing. Like, they'll speak in birdsong so that you don't know that they're there. So yeah, I've absolutely have heard them mimicking owls and birds and various things. It's true, Phil. I mean, it's true. You know, my Q, she drives a lot. Like we go on these like road trips. She doesn't like looking down out of the car window to look down a mountain side or like whatever. So she'd rather drive. And that works for me because then I can stare out in the woods and look and see if I see anything. Man, I would love to go to the Northwest before I die. I'd love to go to Washington, Mount St. Helens, Oregon, Mount Hood, you know, maybe go to what's the one in Montana? There's a big one in Montana. You know, Yellowstone. I would love to go out that way and spend some time out there. So, you know, interesting that you bring that up, Kathy. Bigfoot World. I was listening to a story tonight that really got me thinking. I refuse to believe that there's a correlation between Bigfoot and UFOs. I at least at least Bigfoot and extraterrestrial, you know, beings, that sort of thing. I don't see the connection and I just don't get into it. But there's always these reports of I saw Bigfoot and I saw orbs of light. I saw these like orbs going here and the light sources going there, and I saw the Bigfoot, right? So why are these two things connected? If I don't believe that Bigfoot and UFOs or aliens rather are connected, then I have to get to a logical decision somewhere. And I started to contemplate. I was like, what if our governments are completely aware of these creatures And maybe they're protecting them. Maybe that's why we have national parks that are protected. I don't know. But what if the orbs we're seeing associated with these creatures are like drones or some sort of government technology that is associated with these creatures? Yeah, I would love to, Phil. You're right, Joe. We have a lot of things, these artifacts that are out of time. We're finding these like cogs and still drill marks that are, you know, outside of the Bronze Age. I mean, there's a lot of things about ancient humans that we just don't understand. Tommy boy, I get a lot of stuff, dude. But I get a lot of emails from you. Actually, I don't recall an orb video though. I I take that back. I think I did get it, but I have not had the chance. It's in my queue to look at closely, I think is what it is. I do recall getting it though. I just think there's so much that goes on that we have no clue about. So why not? You know, it's like let's Mothman for example, right? Mothman is a very explainable phenomenon, whereas there is an underground bunker in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and it's very easy to put two and two together and be like, well, this creature was prevalent for about 18 months, and they found this underground bunker, and this is kind of like it's a government experiment, right? I mean, it got loose, they recaptured it at some point, and continued their experiments somewhere else. Phil, I have never seen an episode of Expedition. Sorry, Expedition Bigfoot. All right, I don't watch the contrived television shows about Bigfoot, so I just avoid all that. Let's see what other pictures. Stop doing that. What other pictures do we have here? Yeah. This guy, Sasquatch Omega, we stumbled upon his stuff, and we've been. This last video was the first time we actually showcased one of his pictures with his permission, but there's other stuff, and we're gonna be showcasing a lot of his stuff. Hey, it's that Connor guy. What's happening, bro? Did you guys see the picture like maybe 2 videos ago that Tommy Boy had sent me with the deer stand that was like wrapped around a tree? I mean, it's amazing the evidence that you can gather without actually seeing a Bigfoot. Not much, Connor. We're hanging out talking about Bigfoot like we do, you know? Was anybody here during the last live chat, which would have been 2 weeks ago? I know Kathy was here. I think Kathy was live in the woods that night. But anyway, um, that night we had 1,300 visitors during the live chat, which is crazy. I mean, it was busy as hell. But I mean, normally we get like, I don't know, a couple hundred drop by on a Friday night. 1,300. I'm not sure what happened to the algorithm that night that made it so stupid crazy, but it's wild. I cannot tell you guys how good it feels to be off work and just hanging out. So glad to be here. That's all I'll say. So yeah, so Sasquatch Omega. I mean, this picture here is one. This is going to be an upcoming video. Our last video, we just showcased another one of his stuff. He's got some really impressive stuff, like really impressive. I'll tell you guys a story. I mean, he's not here. I wish he was, because I would tell it to his face. But anyway, so when I first contacted him, I should say when I first made contact, I had made a comment about one of his pictures that was not a Sasquatch, in my opinion. He gave me some shit about it, you know. And then I started looking. Everybody that had anything to say that wasn't in line with what he thought, he would give them hell about it, you know. And I told him, I said, you know, man, I said, you got some really good evidence. I said, but you're the most arrogant son of a bitch I've ever come in contact with. And he laughed, you know. He said, well, you know, and he told me, he goes, it's hard not to be defensive when you have all these people telling you that your stuff is garbage when you know it's not pareidolia, it's this and that. And I said, yeah, I get it, you know. So I decided, I reached out to him. I said, can we showcase some of your stuff? And he was definitely on board. And so we're trying to build bridges between boots on the ground researchers and the public, you know. So this is just the first step. You know what, Mr. Midwest? I hope you're right, but there'll always be a place in my heart for the people that were originally here to support me, you know, during these times. You know, it's like during the beginning stages. So it's like, I'll tell you what, honestly, if every chat was like the one 2 weeks ago or worse, I would have to switch to member chat. So at that point, I would have to figure out something for the original members that were here to support me the whole time and stuff like that. So, but I would have to switch over because you're right. Before I could even read anything, it would be gone. And that's what was going on 2 weeks ago. It was crazy. Hit me up and email anytime, buddy. Anytime. I just want to blow up enough to where we can get a Bigfoot Input RV and a Bigfoot Input Jeep with built-in cameras and built-in infrared and built-in Wi-Fi, and we can really get out there. Every time there's a reporting, we get out there on location. People like don't know who to call, try to call the police, nobody will help them. We're there. You know, that sort of thing. That would be cool. What else do we have to look at? I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. So the top map is supposed to be disappearances in clusters, and the bottom map is the cavern system in the United States that we've mapped, by the way. We haven't mapped them all. So how is that associated with Bigfoot? Well, I mean, we believe that, you know, that Bigfoot is subterranean, right? So that in a lot of areas in the United States, they live underground. I personally believe, and I know that a lot of people will find this, they'll be skeptical and they don't want to accept this. I believe that some cells of Bigfoot consider humans as a food source. Why wouldn't they? I mean, we are walking bags of meat, and if they are short on any creature to hunt, I know it. Someone said that it was a large caloric expense to hunt a human. Well, I mean, is it though? We're walking down some trail with our camera. Next thing you know, you get your neck broke by a Sasquatch and you're drug off to a cave. I don't think it's, I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, guys with guns and machine guns here. I'm just talking about, you know, the average Joe Q hiker guy. Tommy boy, you are too generous, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to put that in the Bigfoot Input RV fund. Okay. And if I get one, I'm going to head up to Wisconsin, or you know, you're in PA right now. I'm going to head up to PA, and we'll go Bigfoot hunting. Okay. Cameras only. I mean, I agree, Phil. I agree that they're opportunistic, you know? It's like they have to be, right? It's like if they are in need of calories, they're going to find them where they find them. And if it's a deer, if it's a bear, if it's a human, I don't think that they particularly care. It's just like, you know, the difference in bears, and I've made this comparison before. Black bears, they don't hunt people, you know, because they have adequate food sources. Even brown bears, you know, Kodak bears, they rarely hunt humans, but sometimes they will. But a polar bear will eat your grandmother right in front of you. They don't give a shit because they are lacking in a food source, and you are protein. So, you know, let's not get ourselves too comfortable around these Sasquatches. It's like, they very well could consider you to be food. I don't know, man. Think about it, Mr. Midwest. Think about if they just, like I said, they snatch you off a walking trail and drag you down into a cave system. Well, then you just disappeared, and thousands of people disappear all the time. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with missing 411, and I'm not saying those are all Sasquatch related either, but I'm just saying it happens. And yeah, you might get a mess of people out there looking for you for a day, but after that, well, all of a sudden, people stop caring. Joe, we have a membership on this channel. If you go to the main page, you can click join and you can become a member of this channel. We have a Patreon, which is, I don't know, $1 a month or something, like something very cheap. I don't try to drain people's wallets. It's just a matter of, if you want to help out, you can help out. Patreon members and members of this channel are privy to exclusive content, which involves cryptid corpses and things like that. There's such a thing as like a super thanks on this channel, on the live here, which I think if you look, Tommy Boy just did. He sent us the wrecked emoji, whatever you want to call it there, the GIF. Thank you. Thank you again, Tommy Boy. You can send a super thanks. Everything is appreciated, and like I said, I try to make people that help out the channel, I try to make it feel special, So it's like, like Mr. Midwest, he's donated a couple times to the channel, and I add him into our email chain of content that isn't privy to the public necessarily, So all generosity is appreciated, and we'll do our best to, what do you call it? Return the favor. How about that? So, you didn't pick it? I like it though. Let's see. I don't know. The missing 411 that bothers me the most is the one about the hunter. He had like 3 guys with him. I think they were family. He was like the grandfather, and they were in a line. They're getting ready to walk into the tree line, but they had. All right, Phil. Thanks for coming by, dude. Appreciate you. Sasquatch _ reanimated on Instagram. You guys go check him out. Hit him up. Thanks for joining, dude. So yeah, so they're on a road, right? And they're all looking at each other, say down a line. They're maybe 200 yards away from each other. So they see each other. And they walk into the tree line together, but far enough away to where they're not like, privy to crossfire and stuff like that. And the grandfather, Phil, look at you. Thank you so much. There is I don't know if is it a cat or a fox saying hiya? Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys very much. You're very generous. Phil just made the list. Now I've been showcasing Phil's pictures for a couple different videos now, but yeah, we'll get Phil on the list for exclusive content. So yeah, so anyway, they walk into the tree line, and they're doing their hunting, and they have like radios to each other, and all of a sudden, they like go looking for grandpa, like, hey, no one's heard from him in like 4 hours. This dude is gone without a trace. And it's not like, grandpa, like from the nursing home. I mean, this guy's a hunter. He's been in the woods for years. He taught all these boys how to hunt. And next thing you know, man, the dude is just friggin' gone. Gone like the wind. No, they can't find his clothes. They can't find his weapons. He's just out of there, just gone. How the hell does that happen? So it's funny you say that, Mr. Midwest. In Florida, where I happen to be, the most backward state ever, we do not have an open carry law, right? You can't open carry. So that recently changed. But anyway, let me just go back to a year ago, 2 years ago. So there's no open carry unless you are hunting or on your way to a gun show, like a gun skill show. I mean, what a weird law to have, right? And it occurred to me, I was like, I can't open carry if I'm in the woods, and I want to protect myself. What if it just something runs up on me and I'm like, I need protection? Nope, you can't open carry. So I had to have a concealed weapons license. So that recently changed. So now you no longer need a concealed weapons license, but you still can't just open carry. You can concealed carry. So now that means for me that when I go nature walking next time in trails and stuff, I can put my gun in my survival bag with my bear mace and stuff like that, and that way I can have a firearm on me legally. I don't know. Like I like DeSantis, all right, our new governor, and he's done some decent stuff to some questionable stuff, some decent stuff. But anyway, yeah, like that was one of the interesting things. So it's like now we have this thing where we don't need a concealed weapons license, but we still can't open carry. So I don't know, it's weird. And you go to West Virginia, like they have constitutional gun laws, which means you can carry a shotgun in City Hall, if you want. But it's like here, it's like, oh, you can have a hidden gun, but you can't have one that everyone can see, because that'll just upset people. So, sensitive people. You know what? I have other pictures that we haven't even gotten to yet. I love this one. Sasquatch and his girlfriend, and she says, "For one thing, I never see you." Yeah, I mean, in Florida, I mean, they claim we have jaguars. I mean, outside of Jacksonville, I've never seen one. You know, I know we have bobcats and stuff, but I've never really seen any like truly big cats. Although there is the panther, and you know, there's so few that they've actually been documented and like collared in southern Florida. So I just don't think they're as prevalent as people think they are. Yeah, it's true, dude. Like I'm more worried about, like you say, some crazy asshole living in the woods than I am about running up on a black bear. You know, it's just like I don't trust humans. Hey, look what it is. It's that video. Well, it's a still shot of the video anyway. I was gonna give Mr. Midwest a piece of my mind, but I don't really know about this video. You know, like after I read some of the comments, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like someone was saying, like, is it a still tripod? You know, they said it was Sonny Vader. Now I don't know that for a fact. I mean, that was just. I don't have much left, bro. You stick around because, yeah, if I start giving it away, there's not gonna be much left. But yeah, someone said it was Sonny Vader. I don't know that, but I know that he does have a lot of high octane crap out there in the world. But I think the fact they said that the camera didn't move, that was a little eye opening for me. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of true. It did look like a tripod setup. But I think my points still stand true. I mean, okay, we don't know how much that piece of wood weighs, but it looks large, and he threw it so far. And unless it's camera magic where they cut out the part where he flung it in the air, it was so fast. He just with a flick of the wrist, he flung it 12 feet in the air, and maybe 20 feet behind him. So, like, to me, the strength was just so overwhelming. That happens, Tommy. It's just people freak out, you know. And it's like, I'm gonna tell you something. If I could be one of these, like, you know, Texas schools where it's like they're letting the teachers sort of open carry, I would much rather my child be in a class with a teacher that has a gun on their hip than not. You know, it's like, how far is that school shooter gonna get in your classroom? You know what I'm saying? To me, it's just, I don't know, man. We're a little too bashful about carrying guns these days. Yeah, in fact, I think I mentioned that in the video, Mr. Midwest. It did look like the throw itself. You couldn't see. I saw his wrist go up, but I didn't see the wood itself leave. And I just assumed that it left so quickly that the camera didn't catch it. Now, I could be wrong, and it could just be camera magic, you know? So, and maybe it is a trail cam, Tommy. I don't know. And that's a lot of the frustration of the whole thing, is that you don't know. You know, it's like you can't. These pictures, you know, or these videos, like, they just appear, and we just have to sort of figure them out. I'm gonna save that one for some other time. All right, guys, if you're willing to stick around, I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, and I will be back momentarily. talk amongst yourselves. Subject: is Sasquatch an older species than human? All right, fellas, I am back. I don't know, man. I got to stick with my original assessment of the video. It could be some sort of, you know, hoax. I get it. There's red flags. All right, let me show you. All right. Let me show you Bigfoot World's, I think, latest one, or at least close to. Kathy, if you're still listening, we're talking about you. I absolutely just, I can't get enough of the detail on these pictures. The nostrils, the mouth, the chin. This guy is just sort of chilling, watching. Amazing picture. Mr. Midwest, we'll wait for you. That's an important thing. So we're not gonna move on without you. Kathy, can you give us any like insight on this very cool picture? Bobby! Welcome, sir. Yeah, this is a great picture. I don't know, Kathy. I think so. I think Miguel found this from your backyard. So, if there's anything you want to add there. Bobby, tell Dennis that I am drinking a Modelo in one hand and a secret concoction in the right. An ancient elixir, if you will. Yeah, Kathy, I'm positive. This just came out of Miguel found this and posted it on the page, and I'm fairly certain that he found it out of your footage. No, it's not. I still haven't had a chance to try that. When I say I haven't had a chance, I haven't found the cojones to try that drink yet, the Mountain Dew beer. Yeah, Kathy, I think if you step back on BFW on the page, you'll find this just recently. It wasn't the very recent one, but it was one before that. I found this one incredibly impressive, and I'm just certain it's yours. I don't know if it was a video still or if this is like she said. I think after you broke your wrist, Kathy, you were taking some pictures of your backyard. I think that's what it was. You said like, I'm just here looking in the woods, in my backyard, and this was found in those pictures. It just doesn't get much better than this. This is definitely one of the pictures I was looking forward to bringing up tonight. And of course, it will be in an upcoming video. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to do everything to it, and then we'll get it into a video. But, yeah, this is totally impressive. All right, Mr. Midwest, you watch your mouth. All right. I don't think it looks like a dog, man. I'm being totally serious here. I just, looking at this area right here, it just looks like lip protrusion, In fact, some Sasquatch, they call them Gugway because they have more of an ape than a human face. So I don't know that we're looking at any dogman creature here. There's nothing really in the ear area to suggest that. Yeah, it looks like he's chilling. He's just like, whatever. Kathy's talking to him, whatever, just hanging out. Bobby, tell Dennis that I will give him this ancient recipe if he insists. Yeah, the Beast of Seven Shoots, that was kind of obviously a Gugway, you know, and it was obviously a creature because we had the before and after pictures, and then it had like the white dog. It was a weird situation. Like I don't quite fully wrap my mind around the whole thing, but skunk apes, I think that's fair to say. I think skunk apes don't have quite have the human features that some of the Sasquatch do. So I think that's probably a fair. But see, to say that they represent the Gugway, well, they're a lot smaller of a creature. You know, like more in like 6-7 foot range. They've got the hair. They have the ape like appearance. You know, so they're a little different. Gugway. It's with a G. Gugway. Bobby, I'll tell him, but I hope that means that he's buying me some. I mean, my birthday is coming up really soon. Favorite whiskey is probably Maker's Mark. Even though that's technically bourbon. I understand that, but if I had to choose whiskey, I would probably choose Crown Royal. And that's Canadian whiskey. But you know what's really good too is Angel's Envy. If he's never had that, he should definitely check that out. That's a really good. That's kind of pricey though. It's really good whiskey though. $60 a bottle, something like that. But I think my favorite whiskey is free whiskey. So bourbon, it's a type of whiskey. I get it. It's like it's all sour mash and we're distilling it the same way. But there was a time that you couldn't call it bourbon unless it was out of Kentucky because of the water. Now that they can transport the water, they can make bourbon in different areas. It's kind of like cognac. You can't call it cognac unless it comes out of Cognac, France. Well, so this same idea. You think I nerd about Bigfoot, just get me start talking about whiskey. Anyway. I don't collect whiskey, but I drink it, you know, so. Oh, did I reach the end of today's picture? Reservoir. I did. You know, I didn't. So, did you guys see this picture? This was on the last video, actually. someone had commented on this picture and they said, you know, no junk, it's not real. And I agree with that. I mean, if it doesn't have genitalia, it's not real. But I still can't quite figure out what the hell is going on here. And this is where I feel that AI steps in and drops the ball. It's almost like they added genitalia, but they added it in the wrong spot. Like, does that make sense? It's like, I feel like they totally screwed it up. I hear a lot about the flat nose. That's almost becoming like a regular, you know? I've had ryes, you know, the thing with ryes is they tend to be a little sour, like more sour than whiskey. I guess because you don't get that like burnt barrel flavor as much. I never really, I don't love ryes. Yeah, the ultimate sterilizer, huh? the old mother-in-law. I love a good mother-in-law joke. Just throwing this one out here. This is a preview of our latest Patreon video, which includes cryptid death, post-mortem, you know, dead creatures. Anyway, we can't show it on YouTube. So we have, it's on YouTube, but we can't show it because some Karens will like report us and they're like, oh, they have dead, yeah, and then we'll get a whole thing. Can you guys hear the train? Here comes the train. Listen. There it is. That's living. I'm about 5 feet from the train tracks. So anyway, this is a preview from our latest video on Patreon. Shameless plug. If you guys don't know Scott, I was hoping Scott was going to be here tonight, but it doesn't appear that he is. Anyway, Scott Loomis, Monsters from Maine, sent me this picture. I will be breaking it down in our upcoming video, but I think this obviously shows a Sasquatch type creature, cloaking. I hate the word cloaking, but it's camouflage. They're hiding themselves, and he's hiding himself behind these trees. So I think it's a pretty cool picture. We've got the mouth down here, nose structure here, one eye, forehead, and some hair coming right there. So I'm looking forward to breaking this picture down. $50 yards. Yeah, I got you beat, buddy. I think as the crow flies, I am probably 50 feet. And that's being generous. If that thing came off the tracks, my house would be like relocated. So here's to hoping. Want to get closer to the river, you know? I hate the whole stigma that like surrounds the Minnesota Iceman. Like, I feel like I can't even do a video on that now comfortably, because it's just like, such bullshit. Like everyone's just completely written that subject off, you know. So So I heard tonight that someone referred to the Sasquatch as is it Aesop and the Lost Tribes of Israel? People always seem to try to link Sasquatch to something biblical, like it was, you know, it's either like that, it's the Nephilim, you know, it's always something. And I know that, I mean, Christ was, you know, supposedly crucified, what, 2,000 years ago, and the Bible was written before and during that time period. But I just can't quite, I can't get on board with them being the Nephilim or the lost tribe of Israel, frankly. I mean, I just can't. Tommy, go to the, well, if you feel like it, go to the BFRO, you know, the Evil Empire, and check out the Bigfoot reportings right near Pittsburgh. Like, there's actually some, like, in Pittsburgh. Yeah, actually, you know what, Mr. Midwest, I enjoyed researching that story. It was because I just did a video, like, I don't know, a few months ago about the Nephilim. And it was interesting to read all of the reports, you know, from the Bible about the Nephilim and who they were and what they were. But I still can't make the connection between Bigfoot and the Nephilim other than it's just sort of unhinged religious people that are like trying to make sense of Bigfoot, you know, like, oh, it's Nephilim, man. Well, I don't buy that. I'm sorry. And I also shouldn't make fun of those people, although I am. But, sorry, but I find the whole thing funny. I'm like, well, it's not, though. It's just not that. But hey, whatever, you know. Yeah, old Scott. You know, I I was sad to hear of his passing. I met Scott Carpenter actually. I met him in Tennessee at a Bigfoot conference. Real nice guy. You know, willing to chit chat with you. You know, he's a nice guy. But him and I didn't ever, like, we didn't see quite eye to eye on the research part of it. You know, and I think as he got older, he got he really dove deep into the religious side of Sasquatch, and that's just not me, man. I'm not on that side at all. I don't really get into it that much. it's like I think people feel about Sasquatch like they feel about God, where it's like Sasquatch is their own personal Sasquatch. He's either a protector sent by God, or he's the Nephilim, which is like, you know, the enemy of God, or it's yeah, yeah. I just, you know, come on, man, give me a break. Just leave me out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mean to be negative about it. I just I don't get into that side of Sasquatch. You know, I get more into the research side. Micah, welcome. I think this picture is AI. What else could it be, right? Some bullshit AI picture. It's cool though. Yeah, the now famous, absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, I am the poorest famous person there is. I am poorer than Tom Sizemore. So, but good to have you with us, man. Appreciate that you could make it tonight. Oh, absolutely, Mr. Midwest. I think there are Sasquatch out there that are just chomping on marijuana plants every time they get the opportunity. There's been like reports of them like, you know, using tobacco and having like ill results because of it. Um, in fact, there's a whole study out there that talks about how humans most likely expose themselves to, I'm probably going to mess this word up, but psilocybin mushrooms, you know, and that allowed us to expand our brains and come up with colors and different things that, you know, that sort of separate us from the animals, and we actually attribute that to trippy mushrooms, you know. So I'm sure that they're out there experimenting too and eating mushrooms and licking toads and different things like that, you know. So well, I appreciate that, Micah. We're kind of getting back into a habit now, which is cool. I had a big life experience that changed everything for me, but I think we're finding our niche again, which is basically every 2 weeks on Friday evening starting at 10 o'clock. It used to be starting at 8:30, which was nice. You know, we'd have a nice 3-4 hour chat, but now we're starting later in the day or later in the evening. So I'm not trying to. Last time we did this, it was still. What is this? Oh, this is because I have to watch goddamn commercials on my own channel. Anyway, last time we did this, I think we were here for almost 4 hours. I'm not doing that tonight. But anyway, um, we're gonna try to do this every other Friday around 10 o'clock. at least spend a couple hours with you guys. I enjoy spending time with you guys. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that third eye, like the pineal gland. We were talking about that recently, and there's a sort of a hushed conversation that's going on right now about kids that grew up drinking well water and the opening of the pineal gland. And basically we were discovering this because it was like people that believe in Bigfoot, people that are open to the discussion of aliens, and just if you think outside the box a little bit, if you're worried more about whether there was an ancient civilization on Mars versus what the fucking Kardashians are doing, the discussion was, did you grow up drinking well water? And what we're finding is that the answer is yes. In most cases, the answer is yes. And I think that's fascinating. I'm like, so this is where it's at. So it's like, you want to talk about fluoride in water, you want to talk about blocking the pineal gland, you want to talk about the importance of the pineal gland. I mean, frankly, we don't know, but this is a valid discussion. You had to leave and get donuts. I hope. Micah, if you're talking about the one from Canada, yeah, I think like Thinker Thunker did his thing on that video. I've never done that video at all because I think he just did it justice. But it's one of those things where you don't see you see the evidence, but you don't see the creature. So nice. Mr. Midwest, you have a very interesting life. Dark Side Phil. Dez, no. I have not heard of Dark Side Phil. So there's another Tommy Boy's drinking well water his whole life. I believe that. It's not a matter of what well water does. It's a matter of you not being exposed to fluoride in provided city water. Every venue of city water or bottled water that you've ever had has fluoride added to it, which they claim calcifies the pineal gland. So if you grew up drinking well water, that means you were not exposed to that poison, and it allows your third eye or your pineal gland to be open. And it just kind of like leads into you having deeper thoughts and just being a little more open-minded than the general public. Yeah, it's true. It's like once you've like drank well water your whole life, it's like eventually like you taste city water, all you taste is like bleach and chemicals, and it's just it's hard to deal with, you know. So and like honestly, like this is the story that I'm getting everywhere. I was like, oh yeah, well water. Like I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. It's like just look around in the groups, any Bigfoot group. It's like, oh yeah, we were on well water, you know, our whole lives. Somebody griped at me and said this was the paw of a dog. I appreciate you guys going through this journey with us. We're gonna be like in the future. We're gonna have we'll have another video coming up on Saturday. Probably like another picture video reaction. Um, I hope to have another corpse video coming up at some point on Patreon. I don't know. July, there's another Bigfoot conference. I haven't quite decided what we're going to do there. If we're going to be there, I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Tommy. I didn't get to do that as a child, but I hope to be able to do that in my like older years. Yeah, that works for me, Mr. Midwest. I think I'm going to shut it down here around midnight. We're not going to be going on until 2 o'clock in the morning like some of these streams. All right, Mr. Midwest. Mr. Midwest, take it easy, bro. Thanks for joining us. Go get some rest. It's late. All right, Kathy. Feel better? I hope your wrist heals soon. Go to bed. Good night. All right, Mika. Have a good night. All right, so everyone's bailing. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I'm going to go have a little me time. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, this is J Mac, and I'm out.